Hopefully this won't shut down. Instagram's got a bug in it. Anyway, this, while probably will hear my stomach growling, I want to address something with Cynthia Nixon. Now, if you guys don't know who she is, it's not surprising. No offense, Cynthia, but, you're known for Sex in the City. That's it. I've watched a couple of episodes. I found it really, I'm trying to find a good word. It insulted my intelligence. It was vapid. It was just dumb. But I guess it appealed to women. But let's talk about female children that feel like they might be little boys. Cynthia, I wrote you a message, a DM, after watching one of your videos where you're standing up. I mean, I don't know whether you had a megaphone or not, but you might as well have talking to how you're supporting the transgendered community and that you have a transgendered child who's just underwent a double mastectomy. Boy, my stomach is really growling. Cynthia, you're talking about this is your child, not your adult child, your child, and that you support transitioning children. And see, I don't, and I never will. I never will support this at all because children should just be left alone. A child that's questioning their gender, are they really questioning their gender because they're questioning their gender, or because they've got outside influences such as adults worming their way into their brain, trying to convince them that they are? Because I'm telling you, the same as I told you in my message to you, not every effeminate little boy wants to be a girl. And not every tomboy wants to be a boy. And see, according to people like you and others that think like you do, that's pretty much the consensus, is that, oh, well, he's acting like a little girl. He must want to be a little girl, so we're going to start talking to him like, well, do you want to be a little girl? You want to be a little girl. You act like a little girl. Let's dress you as a little girl. Or tomboys. Oh, my God. Oh, you want to be a little boy. Let's dress you as teachers. The child comes to school dressed one way. Teachers that are pro-transitioning children, let that child dress as a little boy once they get to class. Don't tell me it doesn't happen, because it has. It's documented. So we've got outside influences, and they are adults getting in the heads of kids, trying to convince them that they are the other gender just because they happen to be effeminate or just because they happen to be tomboyish. I have an ex. I don't want to call her an ex because I think the world of her. A former girlfriend who was an incredibly tomboyish tomboy. I mean, she didn't want to play with dolls. She dressed in cowboy hats, and I've got a picture of her in her grandfather's when she's, 5 or 6, maybe 5, standing in her grandfather's boots with his hat on. Proud as she could be. In fact, she told me that one Christmas, she wanted a Tonka truck for Christmas. She didn't want a doll. She wanted a Tonka truck. She's one of the most feminine women that I've ever been with. Extremely feminine. And she's a mother of 4. Well, they're grown now, but yeah. Explain that to me. She didn't grow up to want to be a little boy. She grew out of it once she got into her adolescent years, puberty, and started becoming a young woman. She didn't want to be a little boy. She enjoyed being a woman. And that never changed. So if somebody like you had been around her, you would have been trying to convince her that she wanted to be a little boy just based on how she was acting when she was small. Right? Of course I'm right. Because the child doesn't make the decision. The child learns from adults. Children learn from adults. They also learn from their peers, but their peers learn from adults that their fellow peers are learning from them. But adults have everything to do with shaping a child or misshaping a child. So a child doesn't arbitrarily want to transition because they don't know what that word is. They don't know what it means unless an adult tells them. I revealed pretty much in the last couple of years about my transition, but I did this as an adult. I'm 67 now. I started this 33 years ago. I'm done with it a long time ago. And I knew since I was 5 years old that I was different. My mother saw that I was different. She just let me be me, but she didn't push anything on, because back then, we're talking about the early 60s. But there was not the word transgender back then. There wasn't even the word transgender really until quite recently, in the last 20 or so years. When I started this, the word transgender didn't exist. It was transsexual. Transgenderism and transsexualism are two different things. In fact, I think they're diametrically opposed. I do. Because the word non-binary now used to be transgendered when it first came out as a word. Transgenderism meant that you walked the line between male and female, and you enjoyed doing that. You didn't commit to either sex as far as your transition goes. And even transition wasn't a word when I started this. It was a sex change. So the vernacular now is different, but transgenderism is definitely different from being a transsexual. There are hundreds of thousands of transgendered people, and somebody like me, extremely rare. It's statistically impossible to have this many transsexuals like there are on the other side of transgendered people. Absolutely. You can't have this. It's statistically impossible because we are completely different than somebody who's transgendered. Because transgendered to me still means non-binary, the word today, what it means. And people like you, Cynthia, are influencing children by you standing up on that pedestal that you were on some street, I don't know where it was. By virtue of that, you were promoting this and pushing it on people and getting in kids' heads. You were getting in parents' heads, too. And the only way that a child would ever think of transitioning before they became an adult is by the influence of adults. And you're going to say, well, their peers are talking about it because the adults talked about it. And the adults talked about it because it started becoming popular. It started becoming popular. It was popular to be a trans person, and you got a whole lot of attention when you started talking about it. And then the mothers, it's cool to be a trans kid's mom. Oh, it's cool to be a trans kid's mom. I got a transgendered kid. It's not a badge of honor because the child pays the price. The child pays the price. Listen to it again. The child pays the price because you don't know whether they're going to outgrow it or not. You have no idea. But you made a decision for them to allow them to do something that you're claiming they wanted to do. What are you going to let a child tell you what to do? When it comes to their well-being, you don't let a child tell you what to do. You let them talk about their symptoms or things that are bothering them. But as far as a child questioning their gender, they've got an outside influence in their head. Maybe it's just peer pressure because it's so cool to be trans now. It's fashion, it's fad, it's a trend. And I know because I have a frame of reference that you don't have, Cynthia, or a lot of you don't have because you haven't lived it. So you've let your child have her breasts removed. Yeah, I used the term her. Because you know what? There are a lot of people like me who never regret it. Ever, 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 ever. But there are transgendered kids that are allowed to undergo hormone therapy or blockers, whichever one, then have their breasts removed, who then start getting into their early 20s, and they're going, wow, did I make a bad decision? I don't want to do this. I'm losing my hair. My voice changed. I had my breasts removed. My parents let me go get my breasts removed. I want my breasts back. Because of people like you. I honestly feel that there will be detransitioning clinics in this country, the United States. I'm estimating by 2030, there will be detransitioning clinics in this country, specifically to help these children unfuck their minds and undo the damage to their bodies. Because of people like you, because you promoted it. You're out there influencing, because you're this actress. I don't give a shit what you've done. I'm not impressed by actors and actresses. I'm just not. Because you act for attention. And so when you're up there on your soapbox and you're up there with your megaphone and hollering at parents about support trans kids, you're just acting. You're just acting. And if you're not acting, you're still doing what you do. You do it for attention, for accolades, for applause. Because you're an actress. And you let your child get her breasts removed and now you're bragging about it? What is wrong with you, woman? I already know. You're an actress. You need attention. So what better way to get really good attention? Let your child transition instead of just get them into therapy. Let them just work it out that way, because it won't hurt them to get into therapy, and then let them make the decision as an adult if they still want to continue with it. But leave them the fuck alone. Therapy, it doesn't hurt them. And they don't need a therapist that's going to try to talk them into it. That's for damn sure. See, I ran a website for 26 years helping people like me transition safely and sanely. I shut it down in 2024 because it became irrelevant, because of people like you. What good was it for me to put up information for therapists? Hundreds of names I amassed over the years, when therapy is, fuck it, man, no therapy. I'm going to put my kids on hormones. I'm going to put them on blockers. I'm going to get them surgery before they're 18. All for attention. Attention on you. Screw what it does to the kid. I get all the attention for doing this. Look at me. I'm the parent of a trans kid. You don't care about your kid. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done this, Cynthia. You would have gotten your child into therapy, and you would have let it be that, and then let your child make that decision when they got older and became an adult. But no, you had to get that attention. Come on, you're a lesbian playing a straight woman on a television show for attention. I don't consider it a living. I consider it attention seeking. So of course you have a transgendered child. Of course. Oh man, I can't even fucking name how many of you. Charlize Theron has a transgendered child. Jamie Lee Curtis has a transgendered child. I'm disappointed that Angelina Jolie, did this, but she also just let her daughter express herself the way that she wanted to, without the influence of, okay, I'm going to get you on hormones, I'm going to get you on surgery. I admire her for not doing that. So I can't really say I'm disappointed in her. I'm disappointed in you, Cynthia. But you don't care because I'm nobody to you. But I have a frame of reference. I'm older than you are. I've done this. I know even doing it at the age that when I started this, it still scared the shit out of me. And surgery, I was happy to do it. I mean, I was glad. But it still was a frightening thing to go through as an adult. And the changes from hormones, hey, I have no more hair. I'll show you a picture of me before. How about that? That was 87. Not too long before I started this. I had scarring acne so bad from the beginning stages of testosterone therapy. So bad on my face. I didn't want to go out. It was bad. And my scars are starting to get better because I'm using a lot of things on my face that help. Like beef tallow, things like that. But before, they were obvious. Oh, there's other changes, but, some of them are good, but I'm not going to talk about them here. But, I have to watch my cholesterol now. I have to watch my blood pressure. It's not that bad, but it's more so because of the hormones that there can be a problem. I'm fortunate that I haven't had the problems that some guys like me have. And I know someone I consider my sister is married to a man like me. And he's had a lot of problems. Is it by hormones? I don't know. But he's had a lot of problems. And the surgeries, I'll tell you what, they aren't pretty. The particular, they're not pretty. And all of these leave scars. I just don't understand it. Just leave your child alone. Get him into therapy. Get him into therapy. It's not going to hurt them. Let your child grow up and then make the decision. That's all I can say to you, but it's not going to make any difference because you're going to rationalize it. So, why am I even talking to you?